Hello students, in this lecture we are going to see theorem. So the statement is, let G be a group, cyclic group with generator A if the order of G is infinite. If order of group is infinite, then G is isomorphic to Z under addition, and if G is finite order n, then G is isomorphic to Zn under addition modulo n. So first, here G is cyclic group generated with element A, and order of that group is infinite. If group is infinite, and we have to show that which is isomorphic with Z under addition, and if group is finite and whose order is n, then which is isomorphic to Z under addition, right? So we will prove this in by two cases. So in first case, we prove that every infinite order group is isomorphic to Z under addition, and in second case we have to prove that every group of order n isomorphic to Zn under addition. So here group must be what? Cyclic group. So we will prove this theorem. So here isomorphism means what? To show that the given two sets or two groups are one means which there exists function which is 1 onto and homomorphism, then we see that two sets are isomorphic. So let's prove. So proof of the theorem. So let's see first case. Case first means, for we have to prove that group G is group of order is infinite, which also isomorphic to what? Z under addition. In second case, group of order is n, then which is isomorphic to Zn under addition. So see case first. Let G be cyclic group. Then there exists A belongs to G and M belongs to set of positive integers. Then A raised to M not equal to identity. Why A raised to M not equal to identity? Because here group is what? Infinite group, and which is cyclic, therefore there exists an element which generates whole group. So here I have taken M belongs to positive integer, then A raised to M not equal to identity, because if I say A raised to N is equal to identity, then what we say that order of A is N, means so the element of whose order is n. So here A raised to M not equal to identity, so which is infinite cyclic group. So in this case we claim that no two distinct exponents h and k can give equal elements A raised to h and A raised to k of group G. Means we have to show that no to any distinct exponent h and k which gives the same element A raised to h and A raised to k. Suppose we take both are equal, then see what happen. So suppose here A raised to h is same as A raised to k, and say h is greater than k. So what we have to show here, the exponent h and k are two distinct exponent which does not give equal values. Suppose I have taken both are equal, so what will happen? So I will here a raised to k on right side, so I will took onto left side. So in left side we will get a raised to minus k. So here a raised to h into a raised to minus k is equal to what? Or multiply both side by a raised to minus k. So what will happen? So a raised to k into a raised to minus k. So here a raised to k minus k means a raised to 0, which is, so here, which is identity, right? So that is what we get here, a raised to h into a raised to minus k, which is a raised to h minus k is equal to identity, right? So here I have multiplied both side by a raised to minus k. That's why we get here directly identity, right? So that is a raised to h into a raised to minus k is equal to identity. So here h greater than k. So what we have assumed here, A is the group which is GB the group, cyclic group which generated by element A, and any positive integer a raised to m not equal to identity. But what we have give we get here, a raised to h into a raised to minus k, that is a raised to h minus k. So here h greater than k means what? H minus k also greater than 0 means what? Which is belongs to set of positive integer. So but here we have seen we have taken a to m not equal to identity, so which is the contradiction to our assumption. So therefore which is contradiction to our assumption. What is our assumption here? We have taken a raised to m not equal to identity. What we have given here, h minus k which belongs to set of integers, and a raised to m not equal to identity, right? Hence every element of G can be expressed as, therefore every element of G can be expressed as a raised to m. So therefore every elements of group G can be expressed as a raised to m, because A be the generator of that group. So A generates all the elements of that group for a unique m belongs to set of integers. Now we will define the map. So from how to define here, G be the what? Cyclic group, and which is infinite group which isomorphic to Z under addition. So we will define. So the map phi from what? So we have to define G to what? Set of integers. So G to set of integer which is given by means we have here G be the infinite cyclic group, and infinite cyclic group, so whose order is infinite, right? Means whose element is of the type our domain is a raised to m type element, and our codomain is in set of integers, right? So here our elements, so G be the cyclic group. G cyclic means what? There exists element A which generates whole group, means so here the elements of the G are of the form a raised to m. So and our setup in here our codomain is set of integer, means to define function from cyclic group to set of integers defined by, so I will define it like this: phi of a raised to I is equal to I, right? So our domain is the elements of the type a raised to m, and codomain is set of integers. So we have to show that this function is 1 1 onto and homomorphism. So thus is well defined 1 1 and 1 1 onto and homomorphism. That's why we say that is what will show phi from g to g dash g to set of integer which is given by phi of a raised to I is equal to I, which is one well defined 1 1 onto and homomorphism. Then we say that function is well defined. So what is the definition for function well defined? If I have function x, if I take two values from domain, then if x is equal to y, then we say that phi of x is equal to phi of y. Well defined. So for I j belongs to set of uh, I j belongs to set of integers, right? So I j set of integers. Then if I is equal to j, so what we have defined here function phi of a raised to I is equal to I, right? So I is equal to j, then what is value of I is phi of a raised to I, and what is value of j? Phi of a raised to j. So here I is equal to j and I get phi of a raised to I is equal to phi of a raised to j, means what? Phi is well defined. Now next, to show phi is 1 1. So phi is 1 1. So I will take two values I j, again belongs to what? Set of integers, and if phi of a raised to I is equal to phi of a raised to j, then what is value of phi of a raised to I? Which is I, and which is equal to j. That's why we say that. So that implies phi is 1 1. So phi is well defined, phi is 1 1. Now to show onto function. So third, so definition of onto function. So for all, so here in domain, what is our function is phi from g to set of integers, right? So for all values I will take y belongs to z, then there exists element x belongs to g such that y is equal to phi of a raised to I, right? So I will write, so for all y belongs to set of integers, then there exists a raised to x belongs to g such that, what is the definition? Phi of a raised to x is equal to y. That implies, what is phi of a raised to x? So we have definition phi of a raised to I is equal to I. So if I replace I by x, so phi of a raised to x is equal to x. So what we get? X is equal to y, and y belongs to what? Set of integers. So sorry, y here is set of integers. So x is equal to y belongs to set of integer. Hence every element in Z has, hence every element in set of integer has pre-image in G. Hence phi is onto. Now to show that phi is homomorphism, fourth one, phi is homomorphism, right? To show phi is homomorphism. Now for we have phi of a raised to I is equal to I, and phi of a raised to j is equal to j. First I j belong to set of integer. Then so our definition, phi of a raised to I into a raised to j, right? So what is condition for homomorphism? Phi of x star y is equal to phi of x star dash phi of y, right? So we have two elements. I have taken phi of a raised to I into a raised to j, which is equal to phi of base of two elements. These two are same, so I will write a raised to I plus j. So here, so what we have here, phi of a raised to j is equal to j. So if I replace j by I plus j, then what will happen? So phi of a raised to I plus j, so in this equation is equal to I plus j, right? So which is equal to phi of, here I will write this value is I plus j. So what is I? Value of I is phi of a raised to I, and value of j is phi of a raised to j, right? So here phi of a raised to I into a raised to j is equal to phi of a raised to I plus phi of a raised to j, means what? Therefore here phi of a raised to I into a raised to j is equal to phi of a raised to I plus phi of a raised to j. Hence therefore phi is homomorphism. So phi is well defined 1 1 on 2, and homomorphism means what? Hence phi from G to Z is isomorphic, right? Means the infinite cyclic group which is isomorphic to Z under addition. Now in second case we have to show that G be the finite cyclic group whose order n which is isomorphic to Zn under addition modulo n. So the second case, let G be cyclic group which generated by some element A belongs to group G whose order is finite. So for some M belongs to set of integers, that is, so here what is the order of that group? N. So I will write here M. So a raised to M is equal to identity. A raised to M is equal to identity means order of A is identity. Now let n be smallest positive integer such that a raised to n equal to identity. Now here I have taken a raised to m is equal to identity, and here n is the smallest integer such that a raised to n is equal to identity. So we have seen the example of Klein 4 group, that here a square is equal to what? Identity. And if I take power 4, then which is also identity, right? So here n is equal to 2 is the smallest positive integer such that a square is equal to identity. So here a raised to m is also equal to identity, but here order of a is 2. So a raised to 4 is also identity. We cannot say that m is the order of that group, right? So here n is equal to 2, which is the smallest positive integer such that a square is equal to identity. Suppose if I take a raised to 6, which is again identity, right? A raised to 8, which is again identity. So every time we cannot say that order of a is 6, order of a is 8, right? So the there exists smallest integer such that a raised to a square is equal to identity. Then we say that group whose order is n. Here now we have taken n is the smallest positive integer such that a raised to n is equal to identity. So we apply division algorithm between m and n. So here m is largest. Now we will apply division algorithm. So if I take s belongs to set of positive integer and s is equal to, so I will apply division algorithm between s and n. So n cube plus r. So for 0 less than equal to r less than n. So take base a. So a raised to s is equal to a raised to n cube plus r, which is equal to a raised to n q into a raised to r, so which is equal to, so here I have taken n is the smallest positive integer such that a raised to n is equal to identity. So what we get here, e raised to identity, e raised to q, e raised to q, a raised to r. So e raised to q is identity again, so what will we get finally, a raised to r. So here that is a raised to s is equal to a raised to r. So from previous case we have seen that, then by case first, what we have, if s greater than equal greater than r, then what we get here, a raised to s minus r, which is equal to identity, and here 0 less than s minus r less than n, but what we have, n be smallest positive integer, smallest positive integer, such that a raised to n is equal to identity. So what we have taken, n is the smallest positive integer, and here s minus r is the smallest, smaller than n. And here what I get here, a raised to s minus r is equal to again identity, and we have assumed that n is the smallest positive integer. So which is the contradiction? So which is contradiction to our assumption? Which is contradiction to our assumption or our choice of n. Thus the elements are, thus the elements are a raised to 0 is equal to identity, a square, a cube, up to so on a raised to n minus 1 are all distinct elements, are all distinct elements of group G. Thus the map, thus we will define, thus the map. So here G G be the group whose order n, which isomorphic to Zn under addition modulo n. So we will define the map psi from G to Zn under modulo n, defined by psi of a raised to I is equal to I for what value of I? So group is order n, so the elements I from 0 1 2 and so on up to so on n minus 1, because whose order is n means what, a raised to n is equal to identity, right? So we have to show that psi of a raised to I is equal to I, which is well defined 1 1 on 2 and homomorphism, then we say that G is isomorphic to Zn under addition, right? So here psi of a raised to I is equal to I, because a raised to n is equal to identity. So we see a raised to I into a raised to j is equal to what, a raised to I plus j, right? I plus j, so which can be written as a raised to k, where k is here addition operation is addition modulo n. So I will write here a raised to I addition modulo j. So here k is I addition modulo j, right? So we have to show that this function is well defined 1 1 on 2 and homomorphism. Thus function psi of a raised to I is equal to I is well defined 1 1 on 2 and homomorphism, right? So we have seen in previous part, right? So psi of a raised to I is equal to I, which is well defined 1 1 on 2 and homomorphism. So last we will prove homomorphism case. So psi of a raised to I a raised to j, which is equal to, so thus psi of a raised to I a raised to j, which is equal to psi of, so a raised to I plus j, right, which is equal to, what is the operation here, a raised to I plus j means what, I addition mod n j, right. So what is value of I, psi of a raised to I, right, plus addition mod n psi of a raised to j. That implies what we see, that psi is homomorphism. So here psi of a raised to I is equal to I. We have proved in previous case that which is well defined 1 1 on 2. Now to show which is homomorphism. So here psi is homomorphism. Therefore psi is 1 1 well defined 1 1 on 2, and homomorphism means what? Psi is psi from G to Zn is isomorphism. Hence the proof of the theorem. Now we will see examples from exercise. So take examples. Show that if H and K are subgroup of an abelian group G, then set H into K such that H belongs to capital H and K belongs to capital K is subgroup of group G. What we have to show here? Here H and K are subgroups of an abelian group G. Then we have to show that HK, which is set such that H belongs to capital H, K belongs to capital K, is again subgroup of group G. Means we have to show that all four properties of group satisfied. So first we will show closeness property. So closeness. Let I have take set S, which is elements of H into K such that H belongs to H, K belongs to what? K. Right? So what is the closeness property? So I will take any two elements from that set, then under operation multiplication the new elements again in from set S, then we see that function F is closed under that operation. So let I will take two elements from that set. So x, y belongs to set S. Then what are the elements of the type? So x is equal to h into k and y is equal to h dash into k dash. Right? So where h and h dash from? So h and h dash from h and k dash from k. Right? So here for some h, h dash belongs to h, k dash belongs to k. Now we have because here G is what? Abelian, because G is abelian. So we have, so x into y is equal to, so here x hk and y is h dash k dash. So I will write h into k and next is h dash into k dash. And what we say here, G is abelian, so I will write it as, so G is abelian, so here I will write h into h dash into k dash, because h and k are subgroups. H and k are subgroups. So we have, so here what we have, h and h dash belongs to what? H, and k dash belongs to k, right? H and k subgroups. So h and k itself are group. Means what? Closeness property means what? H dash belongs to h, k dash belongs to k. So we have h into h dash belongs to h and k into k dash again belongs to k. So what we say here, x into, this is the value of x, y. So x into y. So this belongs to h, this belongs to k. So we say that so x into y again belongs to what? Set yes, because this is again whole set h, and this element is from set h and this is from k. So this element x into y again belongs to set yes. So closure property is satisfied. Therefore yes is closed under induced operation, under induced operation. Now second property, uh, for subgroups. So second is existence of identity. So because h and here h and k are subgroups, h and k are subgroups. So identity belongs to h and identity belongs to k, right? So identity into identity, which is again identity which belongs to set s. Therefore e is an identity of h and k. So e belongs to set s. So third one is inverse. So for I will take element x is equal to h k. So we have, so here what we have here, h belongs to h and k belongs to k, and h and k are subgroups, means h inverse and k inverse belongs to h and k, right? So and h k are subgroups, h k are subgroups. Therefore h inverse belongs to h and k inverse belongs to k. There, then what we say that here h inverse into k inverse, which also belongs to what? Set s, right? So h inverse k inverse also belongs to it, and because g is abelian and g is abelian group, then what we say that h inverse k inverse, which is equal to k inverse h inverse, which is same as, I will write it as h k inverse, right? And hk is nothing but element x, which is whose inverse. So x inverse is equal to h inverse k inverse belong to set s. Therefore yes set yes satisfies all property, means what? H forms group itself. So s is subgroup of group G. Therefore hence s is a subgroup of group G. Now let's see another example. So that cyclic group with only one generator, only one generator can have at most two elements. Means we have to show that if GB is cyclic group and which has only one generator, then the group has maximum two elements, right? So for example in J2 we say that, so here has how many elements? 0 and 1. So it has 1 is the only generator which generates whole group J2, right? Because here if 1 is generator, then I will write 1 here. Zn is the operation under addition, right? So 1 into 1 is equal to what? 1, right? Now next 2 into 1. So 1 into 1 means of addition of 1 times. So 2 into 1 means what? Addition of 1 2 times, means 1 plus 1, which is 2, right? Here operation in modulo operation. So 2 congruous to what? 0. So 2 into 1 is equal to 0, means order of 1 is 2. So here 1 is the only generator of that group. So here we have to prove that if group is cyclic and it has only one generator, then it has at most two elements. Now let's see the proof. So solution, let G be cyclic group. So cyclic group has elements of the type a raised to m element, right? So let I will take set B whose elements are identity a square, a cube, and so on up to so on a raised to n minus 1. Here a raised to n is equal to identity, right? So the order of group is n, because here how many elements are there? Total n elements. So a raised to n is equal to identity. Be cyclic groups of order n elements. Then what we have here, a inverse is same as a raised to n minus 1. How it is possible? Because here uh, GB cyclic group of order n means what? A raised to n is equal to what? Identity. And here a raised to n minus 1 means what? Here I will split a raised to n into a raised to minus 1. So a raised to n is identity means what? A inverse is equal to a raised to a inverse, right? So I will write in this way. So a inverse is equal to a raised to n minus 1 also generates G, because a inverse raised to I is same as a I inverse, which is a raised to minus I, right? So I will write it as a raised to n minus I, because a raised to n is identity. So a raised to identity, so finally remains what? A raised to minus I. So for what values of I from 1 2 up to so on n minus 1 values, right? So we have, if G is cyclic group, then G has 1 and n minus 1 are generators, right? We have seen in example that if I take Z5, then Z5 has 1 and 4 are the generators, right? So here value of n is 5, so 5 n minus 1 is 4. So here it has 1 and 4 are always generators, and it may have other generators we have seen in previous examples. So let's, here 1 and n minus 1 are generators where n be order of group. Thus, if G has only one generator, if G has only one generator, so we must have n minus 1 is equal to 1. So here n minus 1 is equal to 1. So what is the value of n? That implies a, here n is equal to what? 2. So what we have taken, a raised to n is equal to identity means what? A square is equal to identity, where n is the smallest positive integer, right? So a square is equal to identity means what? A be the generator of that group, and a square is equal to identity means order of a is equal to 2, means the group has only 2 elements. So that's why we say that, therefore n is equal to 2. That implies G is equal to identity is also cyclic group with single element, right? This is also possibility, means G has only identity, then which has only generator identity, right? So here uh, if group is cyclic, has only one generator, then it has at most 2 elements, right? So here what we have taken, a raised to n is equal to identity means uh, order of group A is n here. Now here n is equal to 2 means what? Order of group A is 2. So order of A group A is 2, and A generates whole group, means order of group must be 2, right? Hence the proof. Now let's see another example. So that if G is an abelian group written multiplicatively with identity element E, then all elements x of G satisfy the conditions x square is equal to identity forms a subgroup H of G. So we have to show that true if G is abelian group, we return multiplicatively with identity element E, then all elements x of G satisfy the condition x square is equal to identity, which forms the subgroup H of G. Now to prove that H is subgroup of G. So H subgroup of G means what? H must be closure. There exists an identity element and there exists inverse element, right? So we will prove this solution. Now first closeness property. So I will take any two elements from H, then x. We have to show x square is equal to identity. So I let A, B belong to set H, and what we have given GB abelian group, and here GB abelian group, and H must be subset, right? And H is subset of G. So G abelian means what? H is also abelian group, therefore that implies H is abelian, right? So I have taken two elements, so here the elements of the type x square is equal to identity, right? Now I will take a into b bracket square. So I have taken two elements, so a into b bracket square, so we get a square into b square. So ab belongs to H and every element from set is x square is equal to identity. So here I get again a square equal to identity, b square is equal to identity, so which is equal to identity into identity, which is again identity. So what we get, a into b bracket square is equal to identity, which again belongs to set H. Therefore H is so operation is H is closed. H is closed. Now second identity. So here E into E is equal to identity. That implies identity belongs to H, and inverse. So here what we have given, x square is equal to identity. For all a belongs to H, there exists again a belongs to H, such that how to exist, a into a is equal to identity. Therefore inverse of a is again a, right? We see that, that is, therefore we see that inverse of each element of H is its own inverse, because inverse of A is A, so inverse of its own inverse. That implies what we say, that H is subgroup of G. Now see next example. So let G be a group and let A be any fixed element of G. Then show that set defined by HA, which is set of all x belongs to G such that x into A is equal to A into x is subgroup of group G. So we'll show this. So we have to show that HA is subgroup of G, means HA which is closed, there exists an identity element and there exists inverse element, right? So first we will show closeness property. So for closeness property I will take two elements. Let x y belongs to set HA, then so if I take x element, then I get xa is equal to ax, and if I take y element, then what we get, ya is equal to ay, right? So we have so what we have to show that the product x into y also belongs to that set, right? Means x into y. So what we have to show that x into y a is equal to a into xy, right? So I will take x into y, and suppose I will take element s. So so xy into a, right? So which is equal to, so here what we have, G be the group and H is the subset of that group, right? So G group means G is associative, so I will write here x into ya. So value of ya, so ya is nothing but ay, right? So x into ay, right? So which can be written as x into a y. So value of xa is nothing but ax. So ax into y. So this can be written as a into xy. So for all a belongs to set S or set EHA, right? So here what we get, x into y, xy a is equal to a into xy. Therefore, so xy belongs to HA and HA is closed under operation, under induced operation. Now second, identity element. So for identity, so here what is the identity element in set HA? So there exists E belongs to HA such that how it exists, EA is equal to AE is equal to A, right? That implies E belongs to HA is identity element, right? Now next is inverse. For inverse, so what is the inverse element? Here what we have given here from the equation, xa is equal to ax, right? So we obtain from this equation, we obtain that. So here I will post multiply by x inverse. So what will I get, xa x inverse is equal to a, and again I here I pre-multiply both side by x inverse. So what will I get, x after pre-multiply x inverse, so remaining a x inverse is equal to x inverse a. So here I get a x inverse is equal to x inverse a. So this shows that x inverse belongs to that set HA. So then x inverse is equal to x inverse a, which shows that x inverse also belongs to set HA, which is inverse of element x. So here closeness property satisfied, identity element exists and inverse element also exists. Therefore HA subgroup of G. So